less about blogs. I just see it as entertainment, people entertaining themselves. But people with real minds like yourself will want to know. They will come to platforms like this and they will hear us speak.
People ask me where I get all my energy from. From the stage to the studio and to my desk. I am the energy god. And you can be one too.
You're listening to Adeshokwe Live, the Afrobeats podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another edition of Adeshokwe Live, the official Afrobeats podcast, where we break down the hottest topics in the culture. And sometimes I'm joined by a superstar guest to chop it up with me one-on-one. As always, we appreciate the likes, the subscriptions. Let's keep the numbers going up. The bigger our platform gets, the better we're in position to promote our people without having to wait for others. As always, this is brought to you by the Energy God Energy Drink. This is for us, by us. Drink and stay energized. Make sure you go to energygod.com and place your orders. I am joined in the studio by a special guest. This is the second time in our studio, but first time in this studio. It's always a pleasure to welcome you, ladies and gentlemen. It's PT, aka Pastor Tobi.
The pleasure is mine.
Listen,
the pleasure is mine.
Listen, over the last couple of weeks, I've seen a couple of things that just pricked my imagination.
Right.
I was thinking about it by myself, and then I thought, you always, even though you seem to be far away,
right,
you also have a way to seem approachable. So I was thinking, if I reached out to you, we could sit down and have a conversation.
Absolutely.
And let me just, and that was literally why I reached out. Like, boom. I saw, before we go deep into it, but I'll give you a little background.
Yeah.
I saw an image, I think it was a video,
right,
of you walking in the streets of London.
That's
with Lord knows how many men, black men in suits.
Many men.
many men in suits. And I was like, that image just stuck to me. That just touched me in a different way. I was like, okay, this looked like what we'd seen in the movies with like the Malcolm X, the Nation of Islam, kind of like showing black excellence in a different way, black power in a different way. An image that we hadn't seen consistently in a long time.
Yeah.
And I thought, whoa, even before I reached out to you, I just was like, I clapped that and I'm like, okay. And then after that, I saw you with the ladies. I thought, okay, all right, we need to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
And let me get you in the studio. But as always, like I say to a lot of people, let's get the BS out of the way and go straight into the main topics. This is not a personal kind of like blog or chat where we try to get into gossips and stories. But I always like to ask my guests, especially when you've been trending on social media, which is not new for you, by the way.
Almost a decade.
Trending in the blogs. I'm like, you've been in the blogs, all sorts of blogs, news for the last couple of months. Is there anything you would like to say to those crazy, blog stories? Is there anything you'd like to say to that?
They're news. People have to hit. You understand? People have to hit, and we create names and situations that make sure that people hit. And that's sometimes in the world today, that is negative for some people and positive for some. Our focus is our focus. I care very less about blogs. I just see it as entertainment, people entertaining themselves. But people with real minds like yourself will want to know. They will come to platforms like this and they will hear us speak.
Does things like that affect you personally, where you just...
I hardly see it. Everybody around me is trained to focus. So I hardly see it. Sometimes we hear... I like positive criticism. I don't care. But how many things can I see? There are a lot of people saying a lot of things, people that I don't know. I hear stories some months ago, some funny things from Nigeria. But Nigeria is meant to be a very comic and entertaining nation. We are entertaining people. But the people who are matured enough know this is comical. This is it's a gyration of some sort. And we can't block that from happening. We are Africans, but those who know the truth know the truth.
Heavy the head that wears the crown.
Absolutely.
How do you use that type of mentality to maybe inspire or to teach some of the people that you work with?
I have a strong family, a strong wife, very quiet but very focused. Then I have the family, ourselves, and that's what keeps us focused. Ourselves, our goals. We started this year thinking that and believing and setting ourselves the target of helping at least 50,000 young black men in Europe. And so far we've done 20,000. So how would I have time to lose guard, like you would say? We have a focus. We want to help these young men. That may be in sports, in academics. We've been to ULC this year, Imperial College, pardon me, this year helping young engineers. We've done football. We've done the walk. We've done many things. Yet we're still not at our target. So our focus on a daily basis is to make sure that within our community, and it's not a racist thing, it's just that our focus, the community that needs help the most right now, is what we're focused on. In Nigeria this year, I think we've helped raise few millionaires, and no matter what you do in Nigeria, the numbers are still many. It's like a drop in the ocean.
200 and something million people.
So where do we start from? So those are the things that keeps us focused. So no matter what the detractors say, unless anybody can go to court and prove otherwise, people have been talking about me in UK for how long? Nobody can go to court. Nobody can show any evidence. So you're wondering, where are you guys? So it's just entertainment, and it can distract you if one is not careful. So I don't read news. I watch inspiring podcasts like yourself, like yours, and that's it.
Let's talk about it. I told you about the image that I saw online.
Yes.
Was you walking with how many men?
Yes.
What was the, first of all, what was the thought behind that walk? And just tell us a little bit about why you decided to do that, and did you know what kind of message that image was going to send?
Oh, I honestly didn't know. We've just finished, and what would interest you is that day we just finished the debate, because what we're doing within our community now is I'm gathering young black people, male and female, and we're having debates about finances, proper debates like they would do in the parliament. Because this debate helps us know what is the best business to invest in now, what is the best move to make. So I didn't want to be the alpha and omega of an organization. I want to hear what brilliant minds have to say. So we just finished the debate. Then we said we're all going to work. That's male and female, because it wasn't a male conference. Then halfway I thought, wait, what if just men walk? Well-dressed men, just men for today. So they sent a text around, was many of us there, sent a text around and said, guys, let's just walk down the road. Let's walk down the street. I didn't think of what it became. I said, let's walk. Then later I'm realizing that what it does, my son was there, Joey was there, he's about 8 years old, has always walked with us. It's not our first walk. When I saw the pictures myself, I thought, what is this? I'm looking at it because I understand the image. I'm thinking of my 8-year-old Joseph Joey, looking at that when he's 18. And no longer will he be told about Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, the Nation of Islam. He's seen it, he's experienced it. And now I'm seeing how many young fathers and young sons that's attracting him to say, there is actually a community after all. Of course, what you do, there's Afrobeat community, that's music, and it's beautiful, and it opens doors. But a community of people who may not be musicians or artists, but what do? Entrepreneurs, people who are fighting for justice, people who we are capitalists with a social conscience. We have a deep social conscience, responsibility to our people, to our community, to our
Business
family.
mind, but also with social responsibility.
Because if we keep shouting the black community without an economy, we're not going anywhere. And that's what I think people like myself and those who are working with us have realized, or like you would say, have clocked, that we can shout freedom and liberation for ourselves all we like, without money, without an economy. It's just going to be a noise. And imagine what we're doing in this country without us understanding finances. They would have done us dirty. They would have done us a lot dirty. But we're showing them that we created 142 businesses. So people were saying they are fraudsters, they are this. We're saying, come close. Let me show you 141, now 142 businesses tax-paying in the UK owned by black people. I'm not a musician. I was just preaching. They are there. We have a whole catalog of businesses. Every business you can think of, we created them from the scratch as a black community. So, and someone says, why do you do these things? Now, I don't do church that rounds up services and say, please give me money to give to God. It will make you rich if you give money. I can't do that. I don't do that. Never done that. So how do we then build? What we did was we started building businesses, making sure that these businesses are viable enough to help our community, so that if somebody wants to be a politician, somebody wants to be an academic, we can sponsor them. And the more we're supporting these people, the more our community is having a say in the policies that they pass. And that's not a quick work. That's a lot of years' work.
That's building. Now, that was the image of the men. And then not quite 1 or 2 weeks after,
a week after,
boom.
Yeah.
It was you and another strong image of you and hundreds, if not thousands, of women walking to 10 Downing Street.
Yes.
Talk to me about that decision.
So imagine we finished the men's work and we're looking at the pictures and the video and we're saying, oh, wow, this is great. And the senior pastor son was saying, what are we doing next week? We just thought we'll do another service. So we went to tennis, we're playing. Halfway, I thought, women work. This was on a Tuesday. So I said, you know what? On Sunday, the women are going to work. I said, that's going to be crazy because we needed license. Where we're going to be is Downing Street.
So you need to file for a license just to even walk past
110% on the street with that number of people. You need at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, because I saw the police kind of guarding and
we just
orchestrating.
We just knew that we have short time. We have a short time. We have to do this because they're not going to give us that license. You're going to tell them 2,000 young women on this black Downing Street. That's their most secured area. So we worked, we know we had a short space of time. We presented the letter for women equality, black women equality. Look at the structure of the world. You have the white male at the top. You have the maybe white male at the second. Third is the white female. Before you find the black female. We even call them names in our music and stuff like that. And so we thought the image is powerful enough to get the attention of the nation, which it did. It got the attention of the news. Of course, Daily Mail that always criticize black people, they will be the first to talk about it.
And what did they say?
I think they said something about flamboyant, controversial pastor, something like this. But they did not deny the fact that 2,000 plus young women walk down the street. The police said they've never seen a set of fine people like this. They were confused. They're thinking, what is this? Explain it to us. We said, no, we're going home already.
Well-dressed, just walking calmly, nothing.
Not one, because for them, seeing black people, they're seeing red straight away. Young men, it's red. You're going to fight. They know they will think there's not a single fight, not a single argument. We're coordinated, presented the letter to number 10. We had a debate that day as well, because what we're advocating for is women leadership. We've presented some people and some good people that have risen through the ranks in our organization. Tested. They also debated that why they should be finance ed. So we're creating a mini government. But it's a shadow government. It's just telling the government that is in government.
The opportunities here.
That's all. And there are people that you can use to help the economy and to help our people.
Community.
Because you can't send your people to us. Remember, I've been in number 10 more than 3-4 times at the Prime Minister's office to advocate for our people. I have never gone there to solicit funds or to take pictures. We've been there to say these are the policies that will help young people in this nation. I've tried with different government, and they keep telling me the problem is not the politician. The problem is the civil service, Whitehall.
Red
they will say.
tapes.
The red tapes. They like what you're doing. We like what you're doing, but the red tapes. Can you wait for those years? Then we thought, forget that. We're just gonna create our own economy. And if we had the support of our people more in Europe, our people will be more prosperous.
So, speaking about that, I felt that the images were very strong, and I got the energy from that. But I was quietly watching around to see what the reactions of people would be within our community. But it surprised me that it was kind of not as, I didn't feel the energy that I expected from such images.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about the fact that, people don't respond to things like that the way sometimes we would expect?
Initially, people used to respond to knife crime. When a black young person dies, they're online saying enough is enough. But when a black person says enough is enough, what will he do? He has to go back to work the next day. He has to feed his own family. He thinks he's protecting his own children from that knife crime by trying to move them into a better neighborhood. We are too individualistic. That's us. So we don't raise things, we don't praise things if it is not us, meaning it has to be me. But the message of community, and I've learned this from many years of studying communities, it takes time to marinate and get into everybody. Somebody has to take the baton, the leadership, and be consistent at it. So this is not our first work. We've done many work. For even this one.
But this one was, this one was.
Because we keep doing it. You've seen it because we keep doing it, and we'll keep doing it until the right generation comes in. There was a time there was Afrobeats, people were not listening. A time came and everybody's carrying it. A time will come that the nation family and what we'll do will be what people are fixated about, and they're excited because it takes time for our community to trust people because of years of slavery. So I understand that as well. So initially they will shout on knife crime. Now they are desensitized even. A young boy dies at the age of 13 on the street of London, black boy, and our people just say, okay.
Nigerian boy too.
Nigerian boy. And our people just say, okay. And we are sitting there thinking, how can this be? How is there no shutdown? How is there no shutdown? But again, we get desensitized to both bad and good, but we are consistent. We mean business. And this is, people think a PT just came out of nowhere. This is going to be the 20th year of doing this, 22 decades.
Wow. Now, we've talked about the walk. That's two consistent, impactful, and very visual things that I saw with the men, with the women, and then the third one came, and it was sports.
Yes.
I saw the sports, backing. That was also pretty loud on social media.
Yes.
Not only were you there, press conference, and then it was obvious that you were supporting a mini tournament, and was actively with the youths. So talk to me about that championship, the thoughts around, that competition and what you aim to achieve with that as well.
Again, for me, it's always our community. We've got to look for people who would otherwise not have a platform. So it's like music now. You have how many people? Millions of people aspiring to be a Davido. How many of them are going to become that? Our job is to make sure that those who can't become have a platform, at least to try to become. And if they cannot become, we have many other things that we can ease them into. Is the creation of platform. So we launched something called, so that was the Sunday before the match itself. We had the mini tournament, which was a press conference. Many journalists, sport journalists were there. And we announced our £1 million fund into sport to help those. I've been doing this for a while. And I realized that just football kids, just football lessons, will help some young people, and we've been doing it for a while. But we formalized it with the press conference. We had a mini match as well. Then we had the major one, I think, about 2 Sundays ago. Um, and that was the main one. Again, the aim, and what touched me the most in that was I saw a young boy who had tags on his leg. I've never seen him before until the winning there from the One Up FC, somewhere from Tottenham or so.
Wow.
He had tags. So if you see these guys, the minor to the winning, it's like it's his whole life. And that picture has been standing out to us because I had to show the whole movement and say, even if it's for just this one guy, we're doing this. He's got a tag, and that means
he's restricted.
He's restricted.
He's restricted. His time. He's probably been in prison.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
restricted outside. So him performing there.
His team played against 40 teams. So the winner, we had 40 teams there. We had 800 footballers apart from the spectators. 40. I've never seen such in my life. Eager young men just willing. And it's not just the prize money. They want to show
They
that
just
they
want a
can do
competition.
something in life. They just want opportunity in life. And that's what I live for. That's what we live for. So regardless of what anybody wants to say, we're focused on that young guy is, for me, is bigger than 1,000 blogs. That's our own blog.
Will you ever see a moment where you'll be dismayed, tired of trying to do what you're doing because of the opposition, the wave of opposition that you get, or negativity that tries to block that?
When we, I think it was, I've been trying to help in Nigeria for a while, but majorly, I think we ventured more into Nigeria in 2019. And I
Before
have,
the pandemic.
yes, before the pandemic. And we did a lot during the pandemic in Nigeria. And I've had dismay moments because I'm trying to understand my own people. I'm trying to think, okay, even if foreigners think this way, like how? I've never made money in Nigeria before. I've never done business in Nigeria before. I've had good friendships, like Oba Elegushi, good friendship, good men, focused men.
Money, I see a couple of the other
these
guys.
men. So, but I'm thinking, I'm here to help. With due respect to pastors, I didn't take anything from. So you have those dismay moments, but the problem is, one dismay moment, then you hear like 100 testimonies, 100 people whose lives are changed. And at that very moment, that dismay moment, you pick up yourself and say, I can't stop, because just one nuisance can affect the life of thousands of people. These thousands of people need help. So how can I be dismayed? God put me in a position to be able to help my own people, both home and abroad, and so I can't afford to be discouraged. So Nigeria can actually dismay you.
So you mentioned people like Oba Elegushi as people that you have relationships with. Yeah. What's that relationship like, and what are some of the things someone like that in Nigeria can say to you to try to say, just ignore this or don't watch that? What's that relationship like, and what kind of conversations do you have about these things?
But someone like him, it's always encouragement. He's our family. He's been to my house. He's been to places. And when people say that, but you said this and said that, I said nothing. He knows me better. He knows the kind of honor and the kind of class he belongs to. They are encouragers. You have people who encourage in word and presence. They breathe encouragement and support. And yes, you're right, the ignoring of things, because if you've not been to I've not been to Nigeria for only God knows how long, but I'm there every day. My DMs, you can imagine my DMs start with help, and we on a daily basis, we do, I say this humbly, we do about 5,000 pounds on a daily basis in charity in Africa, in Nigeria, every single day. Things that we can't even announce. That's not because we have money. That's because we have care. And so yes, people like Oba is a supporter, encourager, good words, good focus, sincerity. They've got sincerity. And then, of course, others, the few that we know. Of course, you have funny people there. You have people who call themselves people who connect people to people. I think we discussed one of them the other day, many years ago. But those are people you try to help, but those are your dismay people. they make you wonder, can you actually help Africans? But then you have thousands of others who are supporters, who believe in the cause, and who also know that we are in a good position to help Nigerians, not just with money, connect and thoughts, ideas. It's wonderful
To
thing.
change the mentality.
Absolutely.
I wanted to speak about your relationship with artists. You mentioned Afrobeats, especially over the last 2-3 years. You've been supporting a lot of people, a lot of musicians and creatives within the industry that come to the UK, maybe having shows or whatever. We've seen the likes of Davido, the list goes on, that show up. What's your relationship with these artists? What is your mindset into those relationships? Like, what are you just like, let's continue to support these people? What exactly is it that you're doing? Because a lot of people, especially pastors, they try to stay away because, they say that we in the Afrobeats or
You're in the
Afropop,
world.
we are in the world.
But we've not left
We're
for heaven
sinners.
yet. They will say that until their church member who gives offering or their own child becomes Afrobeat. I've seen that before. So that's comical. I think for me, my relationship with that world is my relationship with anybody who wants to rise or who I know is giving jobs, food to our people. And so before we talk about heaven, we have to hit on it. And so industries that are helping our economy in Nigeria to grow, I'll support it. So I don't know about specifics, of course, apart from a Davido, who I consider a brother, a very strong brother, still texts me this evening, say, Baba, I'm coming to see you on Monday and stuff like that. Others, I have relationship as when it comes. And if there is anything I can do to support, as that time, I'm there. If it's a show, I'm going to go there. I remember getting a lot of sticks for going to one of the big shows in Hall 2 and say, can the pastor be here? I said, but your kids are here. The pastor's kid is here.
I've seen you at a couple shows. I think I saw you at Kiss Daniel
Absolutely.
recently.
I was
I've seen
at
you
Kiss
at
Daniel.
Davido.
And I love Kiss Daniel. I love all his lyrics. I love it. So, but for me, it is supporting anything that supports black people. Because am I going to tell that industry to shut down and then come where? Do you see how you guys changed the world at Adeshokwe? You guys changed the whole world. People will not listen to Afrobeat.
Thousands of people are earning a honest living from a culture.
It's unbelievable. It's Zlatan. No, I have to mention Zlatan. Zlatan just opened a fashion show.
Zanku to the world.
Zanku to the world.
Facts.
Zlatan will tell you about me himself, but things like that encourage us to see him transitioning but still holding that music world. How can I not support such a thing? So Zanku is my brother, is my son as well. I will proudly say that. But these are guys changing the world, and we ask, when they say they are people of the world, we ask them, what do you want them to be doing? If they are not doing this, changing the world through music like they are doing, what should they be doing? What should they be doing? So I support that industry, and it's not just music, artists as well, and others, people who are within, comedians. We think in our own way, and we're praying for more blessings from God. We've supported. We must be top 5 when it comes to support from people who are not benefiting or eating from that industry directly. I'm eating from the success of everyone who is succeeding there. But I should be top 5 in supporting that creative industry in Africa. And people keep asking us to do more, but I'm saying pray for us to have more, because we really want to do more.
Absolutely. Listen, I believe there are going to be many, many conversations like this.
Absolutely.
As you continue to do what you're doing. The challenges are there. The naysayers are there. The blogs are there. But what is also obvious is that the resilience is there.
Absolutely.
To do what you're doing.
Absolutely.
For our people, for our culture. As long as it's positive, we're going to report on it and we'll have those conversations. And I want to say thank you very much for taking the time out to come to the Afrobeats podcast again, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a beautiful
It's
thing.
the incredible PT.
No, thank you. Thank you for the
Afrobeats podcast.